Let's get something straight. Rich kids aren't smarter. They're just raised with different inputs, different beliefs, different habits, different frameworks for decision making. They hear different dinner table conversations. They watch their parents make moves, not just payments. And they grow up with a different lens on life. But here's the thing nobody tells you: that doesn't mean you're locked out. Because the truth is, you don't need their inheritance. You need their mindset. You need the blueprint that has been shaping wealth for generations, but never got handed down in your family. And once you get that, you're not playing catch up anymore. You're building your own legacy on your own terms. So let's break it down. The real rules of wealth, the one most families never teach, and how to apply them starting right now. Don't hate what you want. You can't build what you secretly resent. A lot of people say they want to be wealthy, but deep down they're bitter towards rich people. They assume wealth means arrogance or exploitation or greed. But if you believe that money is evil, you will push it away without even realizing it. Proverbs 10:22 says, "It is the blessing of the Lord that makes a person rich, and he adds no sorrow with it." Translation: wealth done right isn't a curse, it's a blessing. And you will never attract what you secretly despise. Here's what it starts to feel like: you stop side eyeing success. You feel free to want more without guilt. And suddenly, your ambition stops fighting your beliefs and starts fueling your progress. Everybody wants passive income, but nobody wants to grind. But real passive income, that's the reward for building something that runs without you. It's not luck, it's leverage, and leverage is earned. Even Jesus said in Luke 16:10, "Whoever can be trusted with little can be trusted with much." So if you're wondering why freedom hasn't shown up yet, check how well you're managing the work that's in front of you. This is the shift that starts unfolding. You stop fantasizing about freedom and start building it. You feel the momentum of systems forming, and for the first time, your effort starts compounding instead of just draining you. Take full ownership, even if it's not fair. Do you want to unlock momentum? Own it all, even the stuff that wasn't your fault, because as long as you're blaming, you're waiting for someone else to fix what only you can change. Proverbs 12:24 says, "Hard workers will rule, but the lazy will be forced to work with others." Ownership forces the power back to you. Blame hands it away. Here's what it starts to feel like: you stop spinning in frustration and you start seeing levers you can actually pull. And suddenly, your results are back in your hands. Do you want to earn more? Solve bigger problems for people who could actually pay. A $50 offer doesn't mean the same to someone with $10 million as it does to someone who is just scraping by. So stop thinking like a coupon clipper and start thinking like a consultant. Proverbs 22:29 says, "Do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings." That's not poetry, that's positioning. And it pays. This is the shift that starts unfolding. You stop chasing low budget buyers. You start showing up like a pro and getting paid like one. The level of your conversations, clients, and compensation all rise. You can't shrink your way into wealth. Saving matters, but it won't save you if you're not earning enough to begin with. There's a ceiling on how much you can cut, but no ceiling on how much you can create. Proverbs 13:11 says, "Wealth from get rich quick schemes quickly disappears. Wealth from hard work grows over time. Budget smart, but build smarter income." Here's what that starts to feel like. You stop stressing over every dollar. You start thinking in opportunities instead of limits. And suddenly the path forward feels wide, not narrow. If you have $1,000 and you're asking what stock to buy, wrong question. Ask what skill will make you more valuable in the market, because learning how to sell, lead, negotiate, or market, that pays forever. Proverbs 4:7 says, "Getting wisdom is the wisest thing you can do, and whatever else you do, develop good judgment." Here's the shift that starts unfolding. You stop feeling stuck. You start stacking skills and stack income, and every investment you make starts showing up in your confidence, not just your bank account. You can rebuild after a bad launch. You can pivot from a failed offer. But if people stop trusting you, you're out of the game. Proverbs 22:1 says, "A good name is more desirable than great riches." Your name is your brand, and your brand is your real asset. Here's what that starts to feel like. You walk into every deal with credibility. You don't chase clients, they're drawn to you. And long term trust starts stacking up like long term equity. If you're still doing everything yourself, you're probably underpaying yourself. Your time is either building wealth or saving pennies. Ephesians 5:16 says, "Make the most of every opportunities in these evil days. Buy back time, then reinvest it into something that builds." Here's the shift that starts unfolding. You stop drowning in tasks. You start operating in clarity, and you finally feel like a leader, not a laborer. Real wealth, it's quiet. It's not the Lambo, it's not the watch. Jesus said, "Don't store up treasures here on earth, store your treasure in heaven." In modern terms, stop flexing, start compounding. Here's what that starts to feel like. You stop chasing validation. You feel solid, not showy. And you start building a margin that gives you real options. Your circle of friends is your forecast. Proverbs 13:20 says, "Walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with fools and get in trouble." You don't just rise to your goals, you sink to your environment. Here's what that starts to feel like. You stop feeling drained by low level conversations. You start getting challenged, supported, and sharpened. And suddenly, your new normal is growth. Poor people think in hours, rich people think in outcomes. Jesus told the parable of the servant who doubled his talents. "You've been faithful over little, I'll put you in charge of more." You want more? Start thinking bigger. Here's what that starts to feel like. You stop selling your time, you start building value, and your income starts scaling with your ideas, not your hours. You can spend savings or you can earn more. That second option, that's where momentum lives. Ephesians 4:28 says, "Work hard so you can give generously to others in need." Money isn't just for comfort, it's for capacity. And to build on that, Money isn't the goal, it's the fuel. And the fuel is only useful when it moves something forward. Here's what it starts to feel like. You stop hoarding, you start building, and you feel empowered, not pressured, to say yes to new doors. Wealth isn't just about what you make, it's about how you manage, multiply, and move it. 1 Timothy 6:18 says, "Be rich in good works and generous to those in need, always being ready to share with others." Spend with strategy, give with intention. Here's what that feels like. You stop feeling anxious every time you swipe your card. You start aligning money with a mission, and you experience the peace of purposeful wealth. If you didn't grow up with the playbook, good, because now you get to write your own. These aren't just money hacks, they're mindset shifts. They're timeless, biblical, real. And when you live them out, you don't just make more, you become more. And that is what builds wealth that actually lasts.